Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our mathematics revision part 3, and this simply means that there is part 1 and part 2. So please make sure that you watch part 1 and part 2 for mathematics 1120 solutions, and kindly note that this mathematics 1120 is similar to mathematics 1100, and there is mathematics 1100 which has already been solved, and it has part 1 and part 2. So go through both mathematics 1120 and mathematics 1100. They are one and the same. So let me quickly look at the solution, of which this was 2023 exam paper. So in this particular part, which is question 3, we have been given 3 questions. So the first question is A, and then we have B, and then we have C. Personally, when I'm solving an exam question, the first thing that I do is to identify the topics. So that I can switch my mind. So there, this is polynomial. Once I write polynomial, my mind has already gone to polynomial. This one is polynomial. Of which I know this is factor and remainder theorem. And then this one is also polynomial. And this polynomial, it is the basic part. This question, this 3 mark, it was free. This is the basic part of the introduction of polynomial, where you deal with the multiplication of polynomials and then you just equate. Then the other one is the last one, which is calculus. So here basically we are looking at application of calculus. We are just going to look at application of calculus. So those are the 2 topics that were on question 3. So in case you don't know calculus, so meaning you are able to score 3, 9, somewhere 13. You're able to score 13 marks out of 20. So let's start with the first one. Which has been given using the fact that x squared minus 3 is a factor. So x squared minus 3 is a factor of that polynomial. Find all the real solution of the equation. So I'll write solution there. So once I write solution there, one thing that I normally do is to first write what I've been given. So I can treat that as p of x to be equal to x to the power 4 plus 2x cubed minus 2x squared minus 6x minus 3. Okay. Then the other guy, I can notice it is x squared minus 3. So this one I can treat it as a q of x, and this is x squared minus 3. So I can try. One thing that every mathematics student would do is to use the synthetic division. Since this guy is a factor, so most students will use the synthetic division, where they will try to find the 0 root, and they will say x squared minus 3 is equal to 0, x squared is equal to 3, and then square root there. Remember, positive or negative, so x will simply be equal to positive or negative square root 3. Now, if you look at synthetic division, mostly synthetic division can work out properly when you discover that this has no square root. Now, in this case, we do not have a calculator, so you can't use synthetic division. You cannot use synthetic division. So, which method can work here? The only method that can work here, when you watch part 1 on polynomial, the lecture class on polynomial, I stated that there are two methods which can be used to solve polynomials. So if synthetic division has refused, then I have to use what? I have to use the other method. But before I use the other method, I need to make sure that I check out if all the degrees are okay. So if I go on P, I have x to the power 4, so I'll check 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Then all the powers are what? Are fine. I don't have any issues with them. But if you look at Q of x, it is 2, there is no 1, but there is 0. So meaning I can rewrite Q of x to be equal to x squared, and then I'll say plus c 0x minus 3. If you check the introduction on polynomial, the lecture class on polynomial, you're going to understand that one thing, which is simply that the degrees are supposed to be in that particular order. So once I rewrite my Q of x, once I rewrite Q of x like that, I make sure that the degrees are in order. I'm going to use the table, okay? I'm going to use the table to work out this guy. So I'll write it this side due to space. So I'll write it like that. Remember, P of x, I can simply write it inside. So it's going to be x squared, and then x to the power 4, x to the power 4, and then I'll say plus c 2x cubed, and then I'll say minus c 2x squared, and then minus 6x, and then minus 3. And then inside there, here, instead of writing what is in the question, because there is 1 degree which is missing, I'm going to write the guy in red. I'll say x squared plus c 0x minus c 3. Then once I have that, I can easily work out my math. So I can simply say x squared into x to the power 4. Like I stated in the introduction, this should be your eyes. So x squared into x to the power 4. So this will simply give you x squared. Then you say x squared times x squared. This will give you x to the power 4. And then x squared times 0x. This will give you 0x cubed. 0x cubed. Then x squared times negative 3x, it's going to give you negative 3x squared. So when you have that, you're going to simply subtract. So just like we did, you say x to the power 4 minus x to the power 4 is 0. Then 2x cubed minus 0x cubed is going to be 2x cubed, like that. Then negative 2x squared minus 3x squared, so this will be a plus. So negative 2x squared plus 3x squared is going to give you plus x squared. Then like we did, negative 6x will come down, so it's going to be negative 6x, and negative 3 will also come down. Please, in case you have forgotten, go and make sure that you watch part 1 of the lecture class on polynomials. Then I'll get x squared, I put it inside there, it's going to give me plus 2 plus 2x. Then I'll say 2x times x squared, it's going to give me 2x cubed. Then 2x times 0x, it's going to give me plus 0x squared. Then I'll say 2x times -3 is going to give you -6x. Okay, so that's what I have. So since I have that, my next thing is just to simply subtract. So 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. X squared minus 0x is simply what? X is simply x squared. And then -6 minus 6x, it is 0 there, because this minus times minus, it's plus. The -3 will be brought down, it will be like that. After I do that, my next task is to simply say x squared into x squared is going to be plus 1. It's going to be plus 1. Then 1 times x squared is simply going to be x squared. Then 1 times 0x is 0x, but I'm not going to write 0x because a 6 there is out. The x is out already. So 1 times -3 is simply -3. Then I'll simply subtract. So this everything there is going to give me what? 0. Okay, so everything 0. So I do not have the remainder. I do not have the what? The remainder. Now, ladies and gentlemen, personally, when solving, I'm not just going to solve, but I'll also give you the parts where people can make mistakes. So here are the highlights of areas where people might have made mistakes. The first part was one, using synthetic division, which made them not to be able to use it, and they got stuck and forgot that there is long division. Those who knew that there is long division, they did not make it to this point because they did not manage to rewrite that equation like that. So if you fail to rewrite that equation like this, the yellow guy I'm highlighting there, if you fail to rewrite it like that, then you're going to have challenges in terms of dividing using long division, using the long division method. So for those who manage to utilize the long division method, or to use there, I'm sure such people, they manage to even go up to this side. The other area where people might make mistakes is which one to divide through. So this one is where people fail to just use this one to divide, and then whatever you find, you multiply by everything. The other area where people might have made a mistake is when multiplying a 1 by everything, because they did 1 times 0x and they found that it is not working out, because a 0x, when you put it there, then it will make you have certain difficulties. Okay, so once you do everything here, like I said in the introduction on polynomials, once you do everything there, then you are able to solve the equations involving polynomial, because this is simply an equation involving what? Polynomial. So what you are going to do here is this. Since you have worked out the way I've worked out, what I have to do is to get the factor I was given here, the factor I was given. So the factor I was given is simply x squared minus 3. So I'll write x squared minus 3 like that, and then close bracket. I'll get this guy I had. So this guy I had, which is the constant, will come down there, x squared plus c 2xc plus c 1. So these are the two factors. Get me right, these are the two factors. So if a question is saying factorize the following, then once you are done with the long division, you're just going to end there, then you are done. You're just going to end there, then you are what? You are done. Then you have factorized. Now, since this is not factorization, but it's an equation, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to equate these guys to what? To 0. Since it's an equation, I'm going to equate these guys to 0. Now, once I have that, which I can now continue, so I have there, which is x squared minus 3, and then our close bracket, I have x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Since I'm solving an equation, what I'm going to do is I'll separate these two guys. So I'll say x squared minus 3 is equal to 0, and the x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then this one, I'll solve it independently. I'll solve it independently such that this will go x squared, this will go to the other side, it's going to be 3. Then I introduce a square root, without forgetting positive or negative, then that will go. So this will be x is equal to positive or negative square root 3. Then I'll go to the other side. I'll use product, sum and factor, which is another method of factorizing. So product, I'll say 1 times 1 is simply 1, and then sum is simply 2, and then the factors, I'll look for numbers. When I multiply, they'll give me 1, and when I add, they'll give me 2. So in that case, it is 1 and 1. This simply means that I'm going to have the following as my work. So when I factorize there, this will give me x plus 1 open bracket, and the x plus c 1 close bracket is equal to 0. Since both are 1 and 1, and the coefficients there is 1. So from here, if you look at this one and that one, they are one and the same, so I'll just get 1. So I'll say x plus 1 is equal to 0. Even this one will give me the same answer. So x is equal to what? Negative 1. Then I'll say therefore the solution is that x is equal to square root 3. Then x is also equal to negative square root 3. I've separated these two, and the x is simply equal to negative 1, which came from these two, which is just the same value. So this was the final answer for this particular question. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go on B or 2 of A, do we have any question? Any question? Killian, do you have a question? Fides, what's your question?
I didn't see why you got that x squared plus 2x plus 1.
We used the long division method. It came from the quotient. Here. That's where it's coming from.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me move on and look at the second part. So if you look at the second part, for what values of k does the function f of x is equal to x cubed plus 6x squared plus kx is equal to 4, given that they have the same remainder. So this one is just simple. So you're going to get this one, okay? You're going to get the first guy, which is x minus 1, okay? You get this x minus 1, you equate it to 0, and then you're going to find the value of x to be what? 1. And then you're going to say f of 1, you're going to put this one where there is x. So this will be 1 cubed, okay? And then you say plus 6, and then there is going to be 1 squared, and then you're going to say plus k, and then there is going to be 1, and then minus 4. When you work out f of 1 is simply equal to 1 cubed, it is simply 1, and then plus 1 squared is 1, 1 times 6 is 6, and then plus k, and then minus 4. Then f of 1 is simply equal to 1 plus 6 is 7, 7 minus 3 is minus 4 is 3, so you have 3 plus k. So this is your first expression. Then you find the second expression. You're going to use the x plus 2. So you're going to say x plus 2 is simply equal to 0, since x plus 2 is also going into that guy. So f of this one will give you x is equal to negative 2, okay? So you're going to have f of negative 2 is simply equal to, where there is x, you're going to put negative 2 cubed, and then you're going to say plus, and then 6, and then you put negative 2 squared, and then plus k, you put negative 2, and then minus 4. So that's the expression you're going to have after you replace negative 2 into it. So when you have that expression, your next point is to just expand that. So f of negative 2 is simply equal to negative 2 squared, it's negative 8, okay? Then plus, you know, negative 2 squared is 2 times 6, sorry, negative 2 squared is 4, negative 2 squared is simply 4, and then what you're going to do is 4 times 6, so 4 times 6 is simply somewhere 24, and then you're going to say negative 2 times k, it's negative 2k, and then minus what? Minus 4. So f of negative 2 is simply equal to negative 8 plus negative 4. The answer is simply negative 12. So 24 minus 12 is 12. So 12 and minus 2k. And this is your equation 2. Now, you have two equations. You have two simple equations. Now, these two simple equations will help you out to find the values of k by doing what? By doing the understanding of the question. So where is the secret in this question? The secret in this question is hiding where they are saying they have the same remainder. So here, this is where the secret is hiding. They have the same remainder. Now, since they are telling us that these two guys have the same remainder, whereby we have our right solution, we have f of 1, which is simply equal to 3 plus k as our equation 1, and f of negative 2, which is simply equal to 12 minus 2k. This one is our equation 2. Now, because they are telling us that the first factor, or the first guy and the second guy, they are having the same remainder, what we have to do is to simply equate them. So you're going to say f of 1 is supposed to be f of negative 2. So you say 3 plus k is simply equal to 12 minus 2k. Then this will go to the other side. It's going to be k plus 2k is equal
Sam.
Yes. What's your question?
There, did you subtract the 4?
Negative 8 minus 4, it's negative 12. 24 minus 12, it's 12. Is that okay?
Yes.
Alright, thank you. Okay, so with that, this will go to the other side. So it's going to be 12 minus 3. So this will be 3k is equal to 9. So over 3 over 3. Then k is simply equal to what? 3. And that's the answer. Any more question? Any other question? Any other question? Yes.
Isn't it supposed to be negative 8 plus 24?
Let me pick you up from here. I think this is where you... Negative 2, where there is negative 2, where there is x, you put negative 2. So you have put negative 2 where there is x here, here. You have that. This one, you're going to get that. This one is for that. Okay? There we have that one. So after you plug in all the guys, we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, one of them was missing. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me redo one. Let me redo this one. I missed out one of them. Okay. Let me just quickly erase everything. All right, since I missed out one, so I have to redo it all. So there you start with the first one, x minus 1, you equate it to 0, x is equal to 1, then you say f of x, you know that it is x to the power 3. The chaos. You have just simply made me now to erase what was right. What I solved was the right thing. You have made me to erase it. So here's the thing. We are using this equation and not the one on top, right? So we are using this equation and not the one on top. So what you're going to do is you're going to be replacing where there is x cubed, you put negative 2. And then where there is where there is x squared, you put negative 2 squared. Where there is x, you're going to put negative 2. Then from there, you work it out from there. 4 is independent. So negative 8 minus c. Negative 8 minus c, negative 4. The answer is negative 12. Then you say 24 minus c, 12. That's 12 there. And then you're going to do what I did from there. I think since the class has been recorded, you're going to rewatch the part. So what I erased was okay. Okay, so in that case, I need to move on and look at the other parts of the question. Please, what I erased was okay. So just rewatch the class. So from here, b, this is our b. So our b is given that 2x cubed minus x squared minus 7x minus 5 is equal to that. So this is the basics of polynomials, on multiplication of polynomials. That's where this guy is coming from. And then it was just smartly phrased to make sure that you guys are supposed to apply certain stuffs. So x minus 1 there, and then you say x plus 2, and then you say plus c. So before you do anything, the only part which was supposed to be worked on first was this part. So the first thing you're going to do is to expand that particular part. So let's quickly expand the part which is I've gotten the yellow guy, so I'll say ax plus b, and then I'll say x minus 1, and then I'll say x plus 2, and then I'll say plus c. So I'll expand first that. So as I expand that, I'll say ax plus b. Since these are letters, I'll start with the numbers. So with the numbers, I'll expand them as follows. So I'll do x times x, it is x squared. X times 2, it is plus 2x. Then negative times x, it's negative x. Then negative times 2, it's negative 2. You have that, then plus c. After you do that, your next part is to multiply this by everything there. But let me simplify that. So that is ax plus b, and then we are multiplying it by x squared. These are like them, so it's going to be plus x, and then minus 2, close brackets, plus c. Then you multiply ax times x squared, it is going to be ax cubed, okay? And then ax times x is going to be plus ax squared, and then ax times negative 2, it's going to be negative 2ax. Then I will do b times x squared, it is positive bx squared. Then b times x, it is times bx. Then b times negative 2, it's negative 2b, and then plus c. After I do that, my next step is to simply group them according to the like terms. So cubed is alone, so I'll say ax cubed is alone, then plus ax squared is with that one bx squared, so I'll say bx squared. Then negative 2ax is with bx, so I'll say negative 2ax plus bx. And then I'll say which one is remaining, the constant, negative 2b and c. they are the two of them. After that, this is what I'm now going to do. Since that equation, since this guy here, the one I'm going to highlight in a different color, which I would prefer using blue, so this one here, we have been given that. So I'm going to compare what I have found for yellow. I'm going to compare it what I've highlighted in blue. So this is what I've found in for yellow. So after expanding yellow, this is what I have found. So what I have found in yellow should be equated to what is in blue, but looking at what is there, what I'm just supposed to do is something that is very easy and everyone can manage. I'll get ax squared, I'll equate it to what is having cubed. Ax cubed, I'll equate it to what is having cubed. So I'm going to have the first guy will be, let me write this side. The first guy will be ax cubed is equal to 2x cubed. Okay, that's the first one. This is the first one. Then the second one, I'll pick from the one who are having squared, which is ax squared plus bx squared. I'll equate it to what is having squared, which is negative x squared. And this can be factorized. So I'm going to have something like a plus b x squared is simply equal to negative x squared. This will be my equation 2. Then I'll come up with my third equation, which has to be the last one. So this one is the constants, which is negative 2b plus c is equal to, I'm going to equate the constant to the constant number, which is negative 5, like that. And this will be my equation my equation 3. So with the 3 equations, I am able to find the answers for all the letters. I am able to find the answers for all the letters. So I'll start with the yellow guy, the one I've highlighted in yellow. So let me quickly solve it. So for the yellow guy, it will make a way for everything. So I'll say using using equation 1, which I can say EQ1, using EQ1, this is what I have. I have ax cubed, which has been equated, ax cubed, which has been equated to 2x cubed, which has been equated to 2x cubed. Okay, so if you look at the cubes, they can easily be removed. So the x cubed can easily be removed. So let me get rid of them. That one and that one will simply go. So when the cubes have been removed, that simply means that a is simply equal to what? 2. A is simply equal to 2. So that's what we have there. Now, since we have a is equal to 2, we can now use equation 2. Okay, we can now use equation 2. So equation 2 will help us to come up with the answer for B. Okay, so I'll write using EQ2, So if we use equation 2, what are we going to have? So from equation 2, what we have is open bracket A plus B close bracket x squared is equal to negative x squared. That's what we have from equation 2. That's what we have from equation 2. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Someone has lowered my PC. Okay, and I've lost everything. Okay, so can someone give me the first equation? Someone to give me the first equation?
AX cubed equals to
Ax cubed equals to what? 2x
equals to x cubed.
So this was equation 1.
2x cubed.
Okay, then equation 2.
A plus b in brackets, x squared outside, equals minus x squared.
This was equation 2. Then the last
equals
equation.
Minus x squared.
Okay, and the last equation?
I've forgotten, I'm not writing, I was just memorizing. I've forgotten, I'm just memorizing, I was never writing.
Okay, the other one was memorizing. What can you
know? The last equation was negative 2b plus c is equals to negative 5.
Okay, thank you for memorizing. Okay, so
and then the third equation was,
yes. Oh, why?
I was saying the third equation was 2ax plus bx is equals to 7x.
Hii mumavuma kuisa equation.
No, we never had such a equation.
Guys, muleshi foda.
It's the one you
Oh, you're writing a wrong one. Mulimwa kirasi ya biri. Okay, all right. Let's move on.